We can welcome people in because I'm sure everyone will be hopping on right now.
Welcome everyone.
Welcome.
You can say hi in the chat box.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh. Let us know where you're listening from too, because that'll be fun.
Yes, there's a chat box that you guys can type in.
Should say chat on the bottom of your screen.
Yep, and then it will pop up.
Awesome. Okay, so welcome everybody. We are going to go ahead and get started. Jade and I are hosting this event to kind of help all the brides that are rescheduling or just planning their weddings. So any questions you guys have for us, we are going to open up separate links with the Zoom room after everybody speaks, and you can chat with us individually. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to use the chat box. And Jade, do you have anything?
Yeah, so if you are a guest or a couple or any of that sort, can you guys write in your names in the chat box and where you're coming from? All couples, attendees.
Also, don't forget to mute your audio if you are a guest coming in.
Kara Naples. Kara. Wait, Kara, you're one of my brides. Ooh, Chicago.
Fun.
Oh, one from Becky, Des Moines. I was just there last week doing a wedding with Becky.
You did amazing.
Cape Coral.
Welcome in, y'all. Welcome, welcome.
This is awesome. Got all kinds of people.
So many places. Cool. Well, we'll just wait for more attendees to come in for the next 2 minutes.
Sounds good. Yeah, so let me ask everybody who's here, vendors and brides or anyone else watching, whoever we got. Do you like this format? How's Zoom working for you? Do you like this more than going to a show in person? Give us some feedback, because this is the first time we've done it on this platform. We did one on Facebook a couple weeks ago, but I'd really love to hear if you guys like this and what you think.
So I should reiterate this again. We will all be listing to vendors based on their category. So the first 2 people going are both planners. And then after that, we'll be having 2 photographers, and then we'll be having a video person. So it's just going to be segments of different industry types. And then at the end of the show, I will post a link in the chat box where you guys can all go into individual rooms and ask them specific questions about florals or planning and that type of stuff. So if you guys have questions, you can in the chat box. If you really want to talk in person, we'll in person, and we'll have individual rooms. Kelsey, where's Kelsey from?
Someone talk to me. Who's monitoring the chat while this is going on?
I kind of am.
I'm watching it too.
I'm watching it too.
A lot of people are logged in. If you don't want us to see you, go ahead, because I'm watching this in a little square so I can see everybody's face.
I'm
You
gonna go to
can
our
turn off
chat.
your video if you don't want us to see you.
Where?
Yep. And if you need any help figuring out how to mute your audio or to hide your screen, just let us know. We can help guide you in that as well as you guys are entering.
Kelsey from Fort Myers.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Elsie. Am I like the only one?
We also have a Celia and a Brandon.
Oh, there's Tommy. Hi, Tommy.
Hey, what's up?
All right, so what time is we starting? In just about 4 minutes.
So 5 now, so yeah, I wouldn't wait any longer than 5 more minutes, because I'd like Kelly and Becky time as they can help our brides out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
27 in right now. Let me check. Laura, it looks like you're not muted.
Yeah, and I believe Courtney as well. Welcome, welcome.
We're going to get started in just a bit, and what we're going to do is everyone will be muted except for the 2 people that will be speaking.
If you don't know how to mute your audio, you can just hover your mouse over the video of yourself or the icon with your initial on it, and then there should be an option to mute yourself, and then 3 dots where you can turn your video off as well.
Perfect. So Kelly, do you want to do some preliminary talking about what you, just introducing yourself?
Do you want to start now?
Well, let's do before you guys start, just like where you live and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So
I'm here. I'm in Southwest Florida. I'm Kelly. I'm one of the 2 wedding planners that is going to be giving you information today. We're looking forward to talking to everyone, of course. We're hopeful that we have brides and grooms and any kind of engaged couple. We're also hoping that we have some wedding professionals on here today because we want to be able to give out as much information as possible related not just to COVID, but how in general that you should tackle a situation of postponing, rescheduling, replanning, and then for new and current clients who aren't in that situation, for planning your weddings in what is going to be a new movement of weddings because of all the weddings that were supposed to be happening right now in the next 3 months. You know, you're kind of in a battlefield with the rest of them because everyone's fighting for the same dates. And we want to hopefully impress upon all wedding professionals that are here other information from us that we feel like you can pass along to your clients and potential clients. So that's I know that's what Becky and I want to bring to the table. My partner in crime here. She's not showing up right now, but she's here. She's not on my screen.
I'm here.
hey, Becky.
Hey everybody, my name is Becky. I am with Mostly Becky Weddings, and I currently live in a couple different places. We plan weddings a lot of different places, and we are so excited to be here with you. Like Kelly said, just to second what she's doing. She is an amazing wedding planner, and we put our heads together this week, and hopefully are going to bring you some valuable
I'm cooking right now, baby.
to help you guys understand, how to handle all of this, because it's a little bit new for everybody, and things are currently changing and constantly changing, and we want you to be as informed as possible, and of course make the smartest decisions possible by keeping everyone safe and healthy, but also to still be
whining to go outside again. I'm trying to finish dinner.
I think we have a couple people not muted. If you haven't muted your line, can you check that for us?
I don't know if I.
Okay, I think you're good, Becky.
Good, awesome. Okay, so thank you guys so much for being here. I'm just gonna introduce a little bit of who we are. Kelly and I together have been planning weddings for 29 years. Figure that math out. So not 29 total, or 29 total between the 2 of us, which is kind of cool. We were figuring that out, trying to figure out like actually how many weddings we've planned together, and it's over 1,500. So holy crap. Am I old enough to even be able to do that? But we're excited because we've learned a lot in those 29 years, and we're here to be helpful to you. And so I think what we really wanted to start with is just reminding you that, like, as wedding planners, we know more than anyone in this industry that this is a team effort. And this movement and all of the things that are happening in allowing you guys to postpone, move your date, cancel and replan and completely reconstruct everything that you guys have put together is not an easy task. And so we want to be of help to you, and we need a lot of people to be on board. And so we're here to help you do that. And because of that, we're actually offering postponement coordination packages. And if you want more information, Kelly and I can give that to you. But I think that's going to be something that's very helpful in getting you from where you are today to where you need to be to actually host your celebration and whatever that may look like. So you have some options, and we want to speak with you about them today. I'm going to let Kelly kind of go into a couple things about what we're going to be offering in our free downloadable that we created for you today.
Okay, let me go back and put that up. Oh, just went to what I was talking about. Hang on one second for me, guys. Okay, so the downloadable that we're going to have a link to here. Hold on. Okay, there we go. It's going, what it is, it's going to give you step by step what you would need to do to postpone your wedding if you've already got it on the books. It's going to take you from the point of when you're considering moving, if you're at that place, to it's done, moving, and you're starting from wherever your ending point was. So the first thing that you want to do for yourself to make things easier is to make a list of preferred new dates that you want. Send them to your planner. The best thing you could do at this point is send it by April 1st. We really feel like you really need to make a move on this now for several reasons, mostly because we were in the height of wedding season now. That means that there's that many more weddings that are moving into the fall and into the winter season. So you're up and you're battling against all of the new clients and new brides and grooms who are also looking for those dates. So those dates are going to be filling in first. So we want you to pick your preferred date and let your planner or coordinator, if you have one, know so that she can be, or he or she can be aware and get things moving as quickly as possible. Once you decide on a date to officially request the move, send it to your planner, like I said, and then you're going to update your invited guests of the fact that you're watching the situation and that you're considering moving. You want to let your guests know because they're wondering, just like the rest of us, if that's going to be coming up. So you want to let them know. There's a lot of stationers that have put out some information like we're changing the date, but it's a great idea if you go to your stationer and ask for a we are considering letter that you can send by text or email to all of your guests to let them know that you're considering moving the date so that they know that. Once you, let's see, where are we at on here? Let's make sure. Choose a potentially an alternative. Okay, once you pick your potential date, you'll also want to pick an alternative date. I know that doesn't sound fun, but in case when you get to your venue and that date's not available, or 3 of the vendors that you already had booked aren't available for that date, you have an alternative to already say, okay, well then how about this one? After that, you want to contact all of your vendors to make sure that they're available for the date that you picked. If you've got a planner, that can be done through them, or if you're going to take up Becky and I on our postponement coordination packages, then that's something that we would do for you. Once you've made the ultimate decision and you have picked a date, then you are going to update your guests with a change of date card that you can send in the mail, and again, that you can get from your stationer. And then you're going to send that to your guests, and then you're going to get all new contracts with all of your vendors that has the actual date change and the terms of the change of the transfer to the new date. And then let's see, once those are done, then send the save the date card or change the date card. And that's if the decision, of course, was to change a date. Now, as of this afternoon, the governor, and this changes this morning even, if you are in the state of Florida, the governor has put a ban into place that you cannot meet with more than 10 people under any social circumstance, even at your home, unless it's your own family. And that's it, 10 people. So if you are they haven't given an end date for this, so keep that in mind. But if you're in that situation and you are planning right now to continue to move forward, know that he has put that into place, that it cannot happen for anyone outside of your household if it increases it over 10 people. So that's new as of this afternoon. Beck, do you want to add anything to any of that part?
I think, like you had mentioned, April 1st is when you need to be sending out that information, inquiring about additional dates, and we don't recommend looking at anything before September 1st. So maybe a venue is like, yeah, we do have something in August open of this year. We would recommend not looking at that, pushing that deeper into the fall and then maybe even into 2021. We just are so uncertain about what is to come, and we would hate for you to move everything and then have to do it all over again. So those are like the two main dates we're looking at today. And like Kelly mentioned too, everything is changing very quickly. Iowa hasn't mandated that quite yet, but I'm sure we're not far behind. I know Tennessee and a couple other places that we plan, those things have come into place. So it's a wonderful time to sit down and review your contracts. I know they're boring and long, and if you need help understanding what your contracts are saying, please reach out to us. Kelly and I are willing to help you understand what all of your deposits mean, if they're non-transferable, some of the waivers and things that are coming in to place today, where typically vendors don't allow you to transfer money from date to date, and they're changing that for you and trying to be as helpful as possible. So we want to help you understand maybe why someone is telling you no, and then understanding what they are saying yes to. We're seeing on a case-by-case basis, things are slowly changing. I know there's venues who are not rescheduling. I know there's venues that are still open. I know there's venues that are just closing their doors. So everybody's going to have a unique situation. And so there isn't just an umbrella answer for anything right now. But we want you to understand what questions you should and could be asking to make sure you don't lose any money if possible, and understanding like when you maybe are going to have to lose some money just because of the nature of this thing, because everybody's losing money right now in every walk of life, I feel like. So we have like 3 options that we want to discuss with you guys today, and Kelly's going to go through the first one because she recently actually just did this past weekend. So I'm going to let her handle that.
Okay, so in the instance of this weekend, it was too late to postpone. We had to move forward. In this instance, you have to let go of all expectations. And it's kind of like you're starting from scratch, and you've got to work with what you have to work with. The best thing that you could do is have a coordinator or planner on your side to help you navigate this process. You're going to reach out to all of your vendors as quickly as possible. Let them know where you are going to move the situation. Like I said, in the state of Florida right now, you cannot be more than 10 people at your household within. I mean, you can include your family that already lives in the house, but not more than 10. So if you want to like still get married and move forward with that, and you've already got a photographer scheduled, a videographer, cake baker, whatever, just know that, if they do not at this moment have to any longer fulfill the terms of their contract because of this ban legally, I think that what you're going to find is that many vendors are up to it. We'll just ask for exceptions on how it works. One of the great things that did happen with us this weekend is that, they were able to move from their large venue to their home, and the photographer was phenomenal, and she decided to break up her coverage so that we were going to have the ceremony and small party that they did afterwards at the house was covered, and they had that documented. The bride didn't wear her wedding dress. She wore her rehearsal dinner dress. And then later in the future, they're going to do a really nice styled shoot where she will put her dress on, and she'll do the whole getting ready, and he'll wear a tuxedo. So they'll do all of those things later. And the photographer is going to take those other 3 hours that they didn't use this past weekend and use them there. And unfortunately, there's some things that you just can't go, let go of, like flowers. Flowers are ordered 3 weeks in advance. And this is again why we're saying don't wait until the last minute to change your date. Do it as quickly as possible to make the decision, so things like flowers and perishables aren't just gone. So we were able to do that. But the most important thing is to move very, very quickly with that change. Reach out to every single vendor and see what you have to work with, and then look for the holes that are missing. If you don't have a coordinator or planner, the best thing you can do is reach out to ones that you can find online. You can reach out to Becky or I to see if there's someone that we could recommend for you that can help last minute. But the one thing that we really want to stress is making the decision as quickly as possible when your wedding is coming up, like in the next 2 weeks, because it's just about like restarting from scratch with what you have available to you. Beth?
Yeah, and I think to second what you're saying too, like we can't really emphasize like how quickly things are moving. Just the impact this is going to be snowballing all the way through. So we said April 1st to give you a little bit of time, but if you have an April event, April 1st is probably too long to wait. April 1st is for you, maybe like June brides, the late May brides. If you are any sooner than that, we can't really emphasize, like, let's just start planning something so we can creatively repurpose things that you have put together. I know Kelly did some really awesome stuff this last weekend, and we are happy to help you do that. Moving on to our second option. So this is basically what we're considering just like a cancellation. Probably the worst option, probably the thing that nobody wants to talk about. Nobody is enjoying this conversation at all, but the reality of it is that it just might not work for you to change or do something. And I know there has been planners and brides who have had to do this. And so working through a cancellation would first and foremost, you would need to start communicating that. And there are vendors that Kelly and I have resources to where we can help create something beautiful that is classy and allowing your guests to then understand what trouble that you took getting to this decision and how you hope to have more information for them in the future. And if you still do want to get married, I know that most like courthouses and public places are closed, but if you happen to already have your marriage license or anything like that, you can get ordained online and someone can marry you with a witness. Those things are legal and you can still do them with 10 people or less in your home, and then just completely plan to have a party later. Maybe plan a styled shoot. I know that Kelly and I were talking this morning about how fun it would be to just cancel your wedding and turn it into a styled shoot where you get to do all of those amazing things that you maybe couldn't afford before. And now you turn them into like all these beautiful photos that you're gonna have forever, and just do that at a completely different convenient time for everyone. I do know that venues are opening where maybe they normally charge for styled shoots or photographs to be taken there, and they are allowing people to come in and do that in place of actual wedding. So I know this is probably the worst one, and I'm sorry that I have to talk about it, but that is something that I think people are coming to the conclusion to very quickly these days. I know that in that process then you probably have purchased flowers and goods and things that maybe can't be used at all. And I do know brides who have been donating them. And I know that if you need help finding people or organizations that are willing to take on those things, if you paid for them and they're coming anyway, we are happy to help put them in the hands of people who desperately need them. Something mostly Becky does already is when we have a lot of extra floral that is going in the trash or is not just going to be used anywhere, we will actually donate it to nursing homes and hospitals, and we've been doing that for years. And I feel like this is just a wonderful opportunity to do that even more. drop it off at the door, call ahead, let them know you don't go in, and just say, we have some flowers, you want to just share some goodness. We paid for them. I hope you can enjoy them while they're still alive. So if that's the situation you find yourself in, let us know, and we can certainly help find people that are local and willing to receive those things for you, because certainly we don't want them to go to waste. And there's a lot of good to be done with some of that stuff if that is the avenue you'd like to go. And then our third option, Kelly, postponement.
So this is where we find that you are going to be in the best state. A true postponement is when you are keeping everything exactly as is. You're only changing the date. Same venue, same vendors, everything's staying the same. The only thing is you're moving the date. So basically it's all about communication. It is an absurd amount of work. I'm going to say that. Just getting to the date process even is the hard part, because it's a bit of a puzzle when you start with the venue, of course, to make sure that they have the date available for you, one of those first 2 dates that you chose, but then making sure that every single vendor is also available. And this is again why we are stressing to do this as quickly as possible, because everyone is fighting for all of the days. Saturdays are gone. Let's be real about it, guys. So you want to consider Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I would say that most Fridays are also gone at this point. But here are the blessings in that. If you are changing to an off day, maybe it'll be less expensive for you because site fees might be lesser. One of our weddings that we rescheduled today, I do mostly destination weddings. The guest room rate went down $50 a night for the date that we chose. So there was a bonus in that. One thing that we really want to stress, and this is super important, is that all of these vendors that are having to move weddings no longer have these weddings now, and their payments were supposed to be due in the next few weeks, and that is their livelihood. So since you are keeping everything the same, the most wonderful thing that you can do to make sure that these businesses stay intact for all of this time until your new date is to pay them on their original terms for at least the installments that were due up until your wedding day, so that they can stay afloat. If they only had one payment left that was going to be due like the week of your wedding, at least consider paying them half. They have, they're losing financial income as well, just because now there's 2 dates that they where they should have had 2 weddings, they are only having 1, and they're kind enough to give that to you. So please be kind to them and make sure that you are paying them at least half of what was expected to be paid on your original wedding date. We really can't stress that enough. And that's going to make sure that all of these wonderful creative partners and vendors that we have, including the ones here and all over the world, stay in business for all of us. We need them. We really need them for that. So pay your people.
Please.
I think that was it for all of our
Yes, and I think we didn't talk about this exactly. I know we only have a few more minutes, but I wanted to make sure, like, if you are still planning or hoping to have an event in April, we would discourage you from bringing people together. We definitely, obviously, if you choose to move forward, we are legally obligated and will be there for you. I know mostly Becky has made that. I know Kelly has made that decision for her company as well. But we want to help you move it so everyone is safe to have the best possible scenario. So I think if you are getting down to the wire where it is like next month, be wise, and really think about those people that might not be able to. Think about those people that would have to make that decision to be healthy or not. And so I just think, like, none of us want to be making that decision, but it's turning into that, and things are getting tighter instead of actually loosening. So we want to just encourage you as planners. We will help you. I know it's not an easy decision. And there's a lot of opinions planning a wedding. There's a lot of people with a lot of things to say. And if you need a sounding board, if you need someone who can talk through things with some logic and some reason and some understanding about everything involved, all of the vendors, all of your guests, please reach out to us because we want to help you do that. And I always tell my couples, I can be the bad guy. Like, I don't sit at Christmas dinner. So let me be the person saying no.
That's so true.
That needs to be done, and save your relationships with your loved ones, and let us be the ones that kind of do that for you. So
yeah,
help. So kind of to wrap things up, we wanted to kind of talk about the snowball effect. This is going to then happen with our 2021 brides. And I actually spoke to one of them today because the dates might be secured. So they might know that they're getting married on June 21st, but what things that might now be affected are their rentals, their decisions with other vendors, because things are moving so quickly, and not just into late 2020, but now into 21. We're finding that vendors are now not available that we had our heart set on, that maybe were available last week. And where normally we maybe had a little bit more time to make that decision, to look at pricing, to talk through with family or loved ones, that's no longer an option. Those dates are gone. Those vendors are full, or maybe they're just blocking them off because they're exhausted because they're going to have a really crazy season. So those things are happening very quickly. And so I've actually sent out an email to all of my 21 clients telling them not to put any panic or negativity out there, but there are some major things that we need to check off, and we want to make sure that those things and deposits are getting set for those things. We can make changes to those contracts later, but let's get them secured so that vendor is planning on you, because it is snowballing. And I always tell people, I live a year from now, I'm always a year ahead of everybody else. And so those 21 clients can't ignore that this virus and what it's doing to this industry. They need to pay attention to it and be ready that it is going to then affect them. So keep that in mind. I know, and I got this number online, so I'm not, but this is an average number that weddings hire 13 small businesses for every time they have a wedding. So think about all of those people that are impacted if we would postpone 10 weddings. That's like 130 vendors, 130 families, 130 meals not being done. This is a really big deal to our industry. This is a really big deal to the world, but it's really affecting us because I feel like in this industry, most of us are small businesses, and we aren't these big corporations that have that wiggle room to lay off. When we lay people off, we lay ourselves off, which is then affecting our family and our food and things that we are passionate artists putting our heart and soul into this for you. So we are thinking through this with you in as much concern and care as possible, because we are in it just as deep as you are as a couple who is trying to figure this out for yourself. So Kelly.
Yes. So now I want to speak to the wedding professionals who are joining us, because you guys are just as rooted in this as all of these couples. And here is the good news from Becky and I. This has been the busiest wedding booking week we have had in months. And we usually typically, at least in this area, and I know Becky has knows a lot about the Midwest, but there's two typical seasons where we have bookings come in within like 2 and 3 week frames. Hang on, I just want to switch this back to my frame changed here. Both of us have booked several weddings this week where we usually wouldn't. And our phones have been ringing off the hook. We've been inundated with new potential clients coming in. Here is why. Nobody is at work. Everyone is at home, or they don't have commute time anymore. So all of a sudden, the people who are engaged, who weren't busy planning their weddings last week, 2 weeks ago, now are like, there's nothing to do, let's plan our weddings. So they're calling us. So we are letting you know that you should be prepared. Those calls are going to start coming because the planners and typically the photographers get the calls first. So be prepared. They're coming, and they're coming fast. So if you have clients that have weddings currently supposed to happen in April and May, I really suggest highly that you do go ahead and reach out to them and let them know that if they have dates that they are looking, or ask them if they have dates that they're looking forward to moving to give you that heads up. So that pushes them and nudges them in that area, because your calls are going to start coming in very soon. I know I'm going to be reaching out to you very soon. So just, be ready for that by being proactive.
And a small reminder too, mostly Becky's a team of 5. So I have people with a large reach, and I am prepared and plan to spread thinner than I normally do in these next coming months and events. So if you guys are curious, or I know Kelly's already told me, like, I'm not available this time, and we're like swapping dates on calendars. I'm doing that with photographers. Think of us and let us help you. If your client maybe doesn't have a planner yet but wants one, I'm doing less is more at this point, just to help people navigate all of this. So talk to us. We want to help you. And I know Kelly feels the same way. If we can swap things and help each other out. And I know there's planners on this call, and I know you all feel the same way. We want to help each other. So, and we're talking to each other. The wedding world is very small, even if you live in multiple states. So we have people, and we know things, and we can help you. So let us know.
Yeah. And we, and that's one of the most wonderful things about this industry, and especially us in Southwest Florida, is that we do want to support each other, and we really want to come out of this, looking like the spectacular people that we all are, with our businesses intact. So we promise to you that we are going to make ourselves available to you to get you through all of this. And we are just as much behind all of our creative partners and vendors to make sure that you guys stay afloat through all this. We know it's so hard. And please turn to us. And, if we are not available for the date that you're moving to, Becky and I are, like I said, are going to be available for just postponement coordination, or, courthouse weddings. Courthouses aren't open right now, but we will make sure that you can get married. So we're going to be available to you for that. But if we are not available for your wedding date, we will find someone for you. We know so many good people.
Yeah, we do. Well, I know we're going to take questions in our separate rooms now, or at the end. So if you guys have specific things, please do that, or put them in the chat box. But we're going to move on to photography now. We have lovely Ashley and Taylor.
Hey, y'all. Taylor, I think you're muted.
1 second. Can you hear me?
There we go. Yay!
Yay. Awesome. Okay. So I do want to echo what Becky and Kelly said about everyone being affected. But we are here for you, brides, other vendors. Like, we really appreciate our planners because they help to just take away all that stress of the details. And we are so appreciative of them, and we want to support our brides, which is why we are doing this Zoom call today. So thank you everyone for coming, for being here. Kind of turn things over to Ashley first, and we're going to talk about photography and all of this craziness.
Yeah. I know it has been pretty crazy the past couple of weeks, and I know Taylor has been going through it as well. Hold on a second. I'm going to change my screen. I don't like the other screen for some reason, but I know, Kelly, you were doing the same thing. Like, it's slightly distracting when I'm watching myself. So basically, as a photographer, and Taylor would 100% agree with me, it's been really, really tough the past couple of weeks. I am strictly based wedding photographer, but we have associates that do not just weddings, but also family sessions. So it hasn't been just the wedding industry, but it's also been people getting their family photos or doing their vacation photos and stuff. And it's been really, really crazy to see how that has all gone down. But there is a light through all of this, which has been really, really great. And we're just going to go through some things and suggestions that we have been experiencing through the past couple weeks and basically give as much guidance as what we can. And we have talked with other photographers as well, and they are all pretty much on the same board as well. But again, just like how Becky and Kelly mentioned, everything is a case-by-case scenario. You are going to have to reach out to your vendors, review your contracts, and see what your options are for your particular event or even just a photo shoot. So I will say that for us, we have offered to all of our clients where if they have been affected by this, a scheduling fee. So basically, if they want to reschedule their wedding for, the 2020 year, we have reached out to them, given them dates, and we've waived any fees to where they would potentially have to reschedule, which is a huge thing, because Kelly and Becky mentioned before, you are potentially losing out on business, but to us, it's most important that we take care of our couples and our clients, and so that they feel that they are not at a loss at all. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Taylor?
You guys are struggling more than, this is our business and it's a financial loss for us, but your wedding day is something that you're so emotionally invested in. And, I've had brides call me crying the last couple weeks. And so I'm upset and stressed for you, but anything that we can do to help you, we want to do within our power. There's some parameters we have to put in place to protect ourselves and our business, but anything that we can do for you, we are more than willing to do.
Yeah, so besides rescheduling and postponing, some of the other options that have been in correspondence with some of my clients have been, some still want to do their wedding and still be able to get married on the day that they originally wanted, but they're just doing something way smaller in scale. And just like, Kelly had on Saturday, we had the same scenario where we did a wedding. It was just a smaller scale, and she did wear her wedding dress though. So, but I even talked to her about potentially getting back in the dress and just doing another photo shoot, just so that they can get more photos, because they did have to change their venue from their dream venue to a backyard style wedding at the groom's parents' house, which is not necessarily the most ideal, but it was beautiful in itself. So it worked out great for them. But I definitely would highly recommend taking your contract or your hours and seeing if your photographer is able to split kind of your hours up for you, and maybe do a fun photo shoot of y'all getting married officially and having that documented, almost like a proposal type thing, so you can kind of share it on social media, share with your family who wasn't able to be there, that it happened and you're married. And then down the road, do something really fun, whether it be hosting a party or just doing another totally amazing photo shoot, with everything and anything that you could possibly think of.
Yeah.
Did you have any other tips there, Taylor?
On that note, I actually eloped and had a ceremony in Hawaii a year ago.
Yes, you did. I forgot.
So some brides actually plan for stuff like this. They choose, like me, I chose to have a small intimate ceremony and really valued those pictures, picked out flowers that I loved, and it was really fun. And then a month later, we had a reception or celebration of marriage with all of the guests that we would have invited to a traditional wedding, and had kind of a backyard barbecue. Again, it was really fun. I loved it, wouldn't take it back. And, even though it might not be what you planned, doing something similar of having, you know, a little elopement ceremony or something really stylish and fun for some great photos or whatever's most valuable to you. And then postponing the actual party later, having all your guests, all your family come to a separate event on a separate date is a really good option. So we're here for the elopements. If anybody, you know,
100%.
under 10 people, yeah, maybe just you two and us and the officiant and call it a day. Just enough to make it legal and, you know.
Elopements are absolutely amazing. Actually, that's what Jason and I are actually deciding to do for our wedding. So, and it's mainly because if we like actually sit down and we think about all the people that we really, really want to invite, like that's just like, woo, it just like blows my mind. But so we've decided to do like an elopement as well. So we're going to get married and then also do kind of like a little celebration party for any family or friends who weren't able to make it, you know, to where we're having it and stuff. So I love the idea for elopements. I actually have a bride who I'm talking to about potentially doing this. We're talking about options and stuff. They actually live in Chicago. So for them, they were going to travel down here to get married on the beaches at Marco. And unfortunately, they've totally had to like cancel and postpone it just because of having family have to fly in from Canada and just Chicago and them just not feeling comfortable doing that. So we've talked to them about potentially using you know, because they bought plane tickets to come down here. So potentially having them try and get vouchers for those flights and actually using them for us to be able to come up there and do something really fun with them. And it seems like that's where they're going with it. And I think it will be a lot of fun, but of course it will wait until all this kind of dies down and we can actually feel comfortable in flying and traveling and, you know, going to a major city like Chicago and stuff. But that's always an option too if you're a destination bride. I think the main thing to remember is that during this time, all your vendors just want to be there for you. They just want to help you and coach you kind of through this, and you know, they feel for you. I know, especially with my clients, they're like my friends. Like they can call me at any time, they can email me at any time. I'm here to answer any questions, and I don't want them to feel any stress that I can like potentially not put on them and stuff. So we're just here to help kind of facilitate and work with their planners and work with the rest of their team on their wedding day just to make sure that it all like comes through and stuff.
Yeah, and there's so many options, like you said, either splitting up your wedding photography packages where you put some of your hours on an elopement and then the rest of it on your, you know, traditional wedding ceremony and reception later. Or if you want to, you know, do just a couple shoot while you're down here, or a family session if you're already here, you're traveling from out of town, or you want us to come to you. There's so many different options, but each person's case is so unique. So really, you know, if you're one of our clients or you have another wedding photographer and you're exploring options, you know, locally when you were planning on getting married somewhere else or whatever the case may be, just reach out to us and we can help you strategize. We can be a resource to you. And, you know, really it's a case by case thing. So it depends, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
And for the weddings that are here, just know, like, number one option is to look at new dates, just like Kelly and Becky mentioned, reaching out to your venue, figuring out those new dates, reaching out to your, you know, your major vendors, making sure that they're able to, you know, accommodate that new date, and just really working through it to make sure that, you know, your new date, you have all those people that you originally wanted and stuff. And if some are not available to be there, you know, there are always tons of other amazing people that can be there as well. And there's always an option to figure that out as well. And that's the great thing about this industry, is that we're all really close and we all just really want to help and support each other and make sure that everyone is taken care of and all of our clients are taken care of as well.
Yeah, that's the main goal. So if there's any way we can help you, let us know. We are going to have questions later in the Zoom room, so we'll be posting those links and you guys can hop on there with us once everybody's done. But our time is up, so we're actually going to transfer to Jody with her cakes. Do you have any last notes, Ashley?
No, definitely come into the room, ask questions away. Both Taylor and I will be there for sure.
Yep. We'll talk to you then. So what you got, Jody?
Hey. Hi, guys. Okay, so my talk is a lot shorter than everyone else. So I just have a few practical procedures that I'm taking during this time. And my talk is geared more at those who are still having your event or have had to cancel altogether. So if you have ordered a cake or are contemplating ordering a cake, and you have to cancel, your deposits, or whatever you've paid, if you've paid it in full deposits, they will always be reimbursed to you immediately. I've had a couple people that have had to cancel altogether, and they were really, they felt just pressured because of the money issue. Some of them are coming out of state, and they were just really stressed out. So that's something like, you don't have to worry about. Everything that you've put down will be reimbursed to you. Social distancing is very serious. It won't last forever, but it needs to be followed. So because of that, if you have a cake, I usually offer either delivery, or you have the option to pick it up yourself. It's cheaper if you pick it up yourself, but because of the social distancing, that isn't an option to pick up yourself. I have to deliver it. That just limits the handling of your cake, multiple handlings of your cake. So before I drop off your cake, I will contact the place of your event to arrange a drop-off before any guests arrive, if that's possible. That limits my exposure and your cake's exposure to unnecessary people. When I drop off your cake, the area that the cake will be sitting on, placed on, will be sanitized to ensure the best possible safety of the cake. And as far as the payment goes, for now, online payment is the only option that I have. And again, that limits just personal money handling. And I think that's all that I have in my notes. You guys can ask any other questions later. Just a few things that I wanted to share with you to make your upcoming event go as smoothly as possible and as safe as possible. So thanks, guys, for listening, and I hope to hear from you soon.
All right, guys. So
Nice. Welcome to the funnest part of the night.
Entertainment.
I will go last. The DJ Dave can go first.
Okay.
I think Tommy, you wanna start off?
Yeah, sure. I can start off. It's totally fine, guys. So guys, I am Tommy Giammi. I own Soul Productions. But to kind of segue into this a little bit, obviously, the topic at hand is that we're in uncertain times, and I want to commend every vendor today for covering like all the important questions that are on every couple's mind, and to Becky and Kelly, who covered such great options for couples considering a date change And I think one of the biggest takeaways today for all the couples on and for vendors as well is that you're not alone in this. Everyone is part of this together, and that's important. So a little bit kind of about me. I was originally born in New York. I spent most of my adult life in Colorado. In fact, Denver is where I officially kind of stepped in to the music world. I attended a music academy there and studied music structure and music theory, and then soon after started teaching that same curriculum, and just kind of stepped into weddings after that. I know that one of the things that we want to cover today is in these times where things are questionable and you're looking at potentially changing vendors, especially a vendor like entertainment, where it's really about personality and connecting with the person, someone that's gonna lead your day and really help to bring your vision to life on the microphone and emceeing. Dave is gonna actually cover some really great questions that you can ask if you are one of those couples that are in a situation where you do have to change DJs. And so I know Dave will cover that in a moment as well. And the biggest thing I can say is, I've been working closely with my couples over the last 30 days especially, and it seems to be ramping up about rescheduling these. And for the couples on, be open to those other dates as well. In fact, one of our brides, Laura, is actually on right now. Hi, Laura. So glad you joined us. And her date was April 23rd and switched it to October 22nd, which is actually a Thursday. And so many benefits come from changing it to a date like that as well. And we had another bride who's supposed to get married this last Saturday that actually changed her date to September 5th. So kind of chose more of a summer date. And her reasoning was, gosh, flights are so much cheaper than going down there. I'm totally fine with just doing my wedding inside, which is actually at the Sidney Byrne Davis Art Center. It's gorgeous inside. And so she was able to kind of make some of those shifts and understand that, gosh, in this time of change, how can we adapt and really make everybody win? And I just really enjoyed working with couples to kind of help ease that tension. We just, look, Dave, I know you feel the same way. We feel bad for you brides specifically, not the groom so much. We feel bad for you brides. And so we definitely want to be there for you. And Dave, I know you wanted to add a few things as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tommy. Just to echo a few things that Tommy said. Well, to start off a little about me, I moved on from Chicago to Naples when I was 12. Started DJing as soon as I got here. So I've been DJing for about 17 years. I've been in the wedding industry since about 2012, done about 350 weddings. But just to echo a little bit about what Tommy was saying, we really are one big family here. I've been in the industry a bit, and I know I speak with Tommy pretty regularly. And if it comes to a situation where I don't have a date available for a bride that we had to reschedule, we can reach out to our other DJs in the area. So we're recommending somebody that we trust. And I speaking for myself at least, I will not recommend somebody unless I can trust them to take care of your date and to take care of you. So just want to make sure I echo that. I do have a list of 10 questions that we can share with you guys. I think I would prefer to drop that in the breakout room and to show you something else real quick before we jump off to let the next vendors on. So one thing that I've been giving to the brides that I've had to reschedule, let's see if you guys can see this. Hopefully you can see. So this is a feature called Doodle. I'm a big tech tool guy. This is a feature called Doodle, and this is really useful for if you're trying to reach out to a bunch of different vendors to figure out what dates they have available. So you can actually go in here. It's really easy. You can create a doodle. We can name it. So we're going to name it, we'll put rescheduling David's wedding. Put JW Marriott. Tommy, can you see this? Just to make sure that somebody can see it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you can just put this here. You can press continue. And then what it allows you to do, so let's say, like Kelly and Becky had said, if we decide, okay, we're going to book, we're going to look for August 8th and let's say October 17th at the 2 dates. That's our preferred date and then a backup date. You can choose those and then press continue here. You don't really have to, you can choose these options if you like, but we can press continue. And then we're going to press finish here. And then what this does is this gives you a link then that you can send to all of your vendors. And so it's going to look something like this. So every vendor can log in here, then put their name and then put which date they're available for. So I, as DJ Dave, I would put here, I'm available for both dates. I'm going to send it, and then it would pop up there. So then what we can do is, if we look at that link that you would send to others, you can see that I'm available for both dates, right? So this is a really simple tool, just simplifies the process a little bit because it can be very tedious in finding dates to reschedule to make sure all your vendors are available. So,
and that really eliminates so many of the emails back and forth as well. So that's really great.
Yeah. So just wanted to share that with you guys. We do have there's a list of 10 questions here. I have the PDF of this. I can send it all to you if you want to jump in our breakout room afterwards. So thanks,
Awesome.
guys.
Next we have beauty, I think is next.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yep, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Hey guys, my name is Hannah and I am Hannah Makes You Up. I'm a freelance makeup artist and I'm teamed up with Belle and Beauty. If you want to go ahead, Mel.
So I'm Melanie with Belle and Beauty. Just a little bit about myself. I'm a hair, makeup, and skincare team. We have a group of 4 people on our team. We do weddings with hair and makeup team, and we also do mobile skincare. So we'll go and do facials at bridal parties, bachelorettes, one-on-ones, all kinds of good stuff. So we will do pretty much anything for that kind of idea. And then Hannah is going to kind of go over herself and some sanitation, and then I'll follow back up with some good skincare tips for you during this time.
Perfect. I love that. I know. So there is a little bit of light at the end of this tunnel here. Mel is going to be going over some positives to having to kind of postpone or reschedule and just kind of getting everything on track for that. But I'm going to go over some different steps that both of us are kind of taking, just to kind of reassure you of our sanitizing process and what we should be doing. And for any other vendors that just might not know some different things. So first thing I kind of want to start with is washing your hands. So we all know that washing your hands is super important, but I think we maybe didn't realize the extreme stress that's put on washing your hands during this time. There is a proper way to do it. So 20 seconds through your forearm, sing your favorite song, the chorus of it. You can sing Lizzo, you could sing whatever you like, just 20 seconds of it, and you'll be good. There's also a proper way to sanitize your hands. So that's also a really good kind of tool. Obviously, you want to be able to wash your hands if you have a sink readily available to you. That's going to clean you the most. But if you're in a pinch and you have hand sanitizer on you, you're just going to kind of use it like soap. So you're just going to squirt on your hand and kind of lather this way, and just make sure you have a good amount on there. So I always like to start off by prepping myself by washing my hands, and then I'll also follow up by sanitizing before a client as well. And then as for makeup and brushes and tools like that, you want to make sure that you're sanitizing with 70% alcohol only. So that is something that I didn't know before, I was a freelance makeup artist or a makeup artist at all. I just kind of thought any kind of rubbing alcohol would sanitize, but 70% alcohol is going to be the only thing that's going to really truly work. If you work with a 90%, it's going to dry too quickly. You need to give the alcohol a little bit of time to stay moist and wet so it lasts longer on the surface, and it has enough time to kind of penetrate through a palette. So I'll just kind of show you what to do. So here's just like an eyeshadow palette, and you really kind of want to get in there and just really spray it. So you can see that it's pretty sprayed, and you'll just kind of allow it to dry that way. You'll let it out. I've never had any kind of problems with pans turning over or quality of eyeshadow or anything like that going bad. So that is a good way to kind of do that in between a client or just an at-home kind of thing too for your personal self as well. I know for me, my personal makeup is definitely not as clean as my makeup kit. So I definitely understand the struggle of that. But I want to kind of go on to a brush. So I have here, this is a Cinema Secrets makeup cleaner. So they have different kind of spot treatment cleaners that you can use that you would just kind of spray right onto a brush and wipe off that way. The Cinema Secrets is cool because you take this, you pour it into this stainless steel container, and you want to make sure you use stainless steel because anything plastic is going to be porous and it'll hold bacteria in there. So you just kind of want to take your brush and you'll just kind of dip it in there into the jar, and then you'll let it kind of sink in for a second and then give it a second to work. And I did grab a dirty brush just so you could kind of see, and then it just comes right out and it's clean. So that's a good way to kind of do it in between kind of treatment or anything like that. If you're just working or switching from a color to color, you can really just use some sort of a spray. You don't really need to get that too into it. But for an at-home kind of brush cleaner to give your brushes like a nice deep shampoo, I personally love a classic Dawn dish soap. That is my favorite. I will follow it up with this also because this has sanitizing properties in it. So it'll help clean that as well. And then I know Mel will show you a little tool that she has that will kind of get in between the bristles. I always like to start off a client with clean towels. So I'll put a clean towel down on my surface, and that way I can kind of lay my products out there and just know that I have a nice clean environment. I will also do like a sort of a cup to put dirty brushes, used brushes, just to keep everything separate from clean and used. And that way I keep myself organized, which is very helpful to me. We work in very tight spaces. So I am in your face, you're in my face, we're very close. If you are not feeling 100%, please let us know. And we probably will not service you. I know for myself, if you are not feeling 100%, that is just a personal choice I have made as a human, as a business owner. I am pretty comfortable with a lot of things. Not a lot of things really gross me out or get me too uncomfortable, but that's just kind of where I am at with that. If you're not feeling 100%, just let me know and we can reschedule you. So I showed you how to spray a palette down and to use the brush cleaner. So kind of what I'm doing is I'm rescheduling brides, no fees or anything like that. And just if I have the date available, I'm making it easy and just kind of transferring over that way. Your original deposit and retainer will automatically transfer over. I know I wish that there was, I just keep telling everybody, I wish there was more I could do to kind of help out with that. But that's just kind of the step I'm taking and just kind of transferring everything over. So if you have any questions on that, we will be in that Zoom room later on this evening. But Mel, if you have any more tips to kind of help sanitizing, I might have forgotten something, but I know you're going to shed some light on a horrible pandemic.
Yeah, so I actually don't have what she's talking about, but what she's talking about is they have, I was going to show you things to like clean your face with. I suggest using like something silicone versus your hands. Because like she was saying, you know, you should clean your hands, but your hands are actually really dirty. So using something silicone like this or like something like this to clean your face will help like keep your face from having any like bacteria and excess dirt and all that good stuff on your face. But there is also a mat that has things similar to this. Where they have different textures and things like that, that we actually use to clean our makeup brushes to make sure all of the makeup and dirt and anything like that is cleaned out. We also do a deep clean in between every single wedding. Same thing, I use Dawn dish soap and the Cinema Secrets to kind of clean through everything, make sure everything's super sanitized. Every single wedding, deep clean through everything. We definitely don't leave any brushes to be used multiple times. We also have the option to wear gloves too. Like she said, we are super close to everybody. So if anybody is sick, we definitely want to make sure that you let us know. Kind of the same thing with her. We definitely want to make sure that if anybody's showing any signs of COVID-19, because we are so close, that we are making sure that we're taking the right precautions. With skincare, this is the perfect time with COVID-19 because you have the time with the postponements to get your skin like in the best condition possible. Get some facials. If you're local, we do mobile facials. Find an esthetician in your area. Take care of your skin. This is the best time to really like get it in the best condition as possible. You need some skincare where you're exfoliating, where you're really just getting a nice good moisturizer. Just washing your face and putting moisturizer on every day doesn't always help you out. If somebody's feeling ill and we can't work on them, Hannah, you're probably going to have to enlighten them on this one in particular. I would give that particular person a full refund because I personally probably wouldn't work on them. It would really depend on how I was feeling about the particular situation. If they're just having, you know, normal like sniffles or something and it's not really like COVID-19 issue worries, then I probably wouldn't be as worried. Whereas if it seemed like it was something that's in this area, I would be, but I would give full refund if I did decline service.
Yeah, so just kind of touching on that, I don't charge a service up front. So for bridal and wedding parties, I definitely do take a deposit or a travel fee as their kind of securement. So in that case, it would have to be kind of situational based just because I don't take a payment for the service up front. But that is an awesome question. So thank you, Becky.
Other than that, you know, definitely look into spending the time into taking care of your skin, taking care of yourself. We're going to have a separate Zoom room. I'm a licensed esthetician. I also have one on staff. If you guys want to get like personal consultations on skincare, I'd love to kind of do that with you. Jade is definitely gonna jump in here. She wants to go ahead and go after. And if you guys have questions, just join us on our Zoom room.
All right. Okay. Hey guys. So it's fine. Tommy and DJ Dave just skipped over me. So they're not as important as them. No, I'm just kidding. So if you guys don't know me, I'm Jade with Jade Strings. I own the string and musician instrumental side of the business. So if you've seen anybody who plays a string instrument and they look like me, because all of us look alike apparently, then that's us. So normally what we do is for the ceremony, we have background music and then we go into like regular ceremony time. So my girls and I personally play violin, viola. I have harpist, a ukulele player, cello, what else? We have vocals now. We're doing a little bit of saxophone. But as far as having to reschedule your day, sometimes things fall into place and you have all these vendors that are available, and maybe one of those vendors is your live music is no longer available. So since I have a lot of girls on my team, I'm able to handle multiple events a weekend. So if you find yourself like, well, I really wanted to have live music, but now there's nothing available, what do I do? You can call me, even if it's maybe something obscure that I don't usually offer, like you say you wanted to do saxophone and you wanted a trumpet player or you wanted bagpipes, you can still reach out to me because I do have, like, musicians live in their own little world and we all kind of know each other. So I can always shoot referrals out to people and kind of give you some other ideas, or we can kind of look into what my girls have to offer. We can do that. Since I do so many events a weekend, I've had 17 weddings postponed in the last week. So I am the master of rescheduling and adding new contracts in. So just if you have any questions with that, we're gonna get through it. It's gonna be like hard for right now, and it may seem like it's the end of the world, but honestly, if you look at it in a way of like, well, my wedding's already paid off. I can spend more time getting my skincare ready, my hair care ready. I can get those extra planning details in that I didn't really think of until last minute. It's just gonna get better. You can't get worse from here. Your wedding will only get better. So that's really what everyone's trying to bring to the table. There's all these little things we can do, but it only goes up from here. So Oh yeah, there was one other thing I want to say. If you have already paid off your wedding and you're like, oh, I want to add these little extras in, this is like the perfect time to do so because you've already paid for it. So for example, one of my brides was like, I really want to do Hora Loca. And that's just like this crazy hour of dancers and fires and contortionists. And I actually have worked with a bunch of those people on my team before. So I just brought them in. And she's just like, well, I already paid for it, so this is going to be my little splurge. And it's going to make her wedding amazing. We're super excited. We're taking choreography lessons, like we really want to make this like the best. So yeah, just think of it that way. It only gets better from here. So after me is, I'm not sure because I'm supposed to be Beauty, but who's after me?
I
Rentals.
think it's me here.
Okay, yeah, Trinity. All right, let me put you guys in and flip those. They are a rental service company, both of them are, and they'll be talking about sanitary measures and what they have to offer.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jen. I'm with Polithos Event Rentals. There's actually 3 of us. There's Sarah and Allie, but of course we're social distancing, so I'm representing for us today. We are located in Gulf Coast Town Center. We're fairly new. We opened up back in like November or so. So we just kind of started getting our heads wrapped around this. So we too are adapting just as much as all of you couples are, and pretty quickly. So typically how we work with our rentals is we have a showroom in Gulf Coast Town Center. So we'll make an appointment. You can come in, view our stuff, and then we can kind of get an idea of what the vibe that you want. And then we can set up mock setups. Well, with the way that things are going right now, we are not taking appointments in the showroom, but we are still happy to do some virtual showrooms, some FaceTime talking with all of you guys with our pieces. I'm happy to email and take pictures of everything. We are also updating our website. We don't have one currently, but with all of this happening, we want to make sure that we get all of our inventory and our catalogs up so that you guys have time to look through that. The other part of our rentals that we kind of offer is like a design portion. So we do styling. So if you are at a part where you are starting over and you need to kind of rethink some things, we really want to be able to help you come up with some ideas and some fun different ways to use our pieces. So we are offering some elopement packages. So whether or not you were doing a courthouse wedding, or perhaps you are doing it on the beach or downtown or in a park, we're going to have some base options to kind of start at, and then we can kind of, elopement's not a bad word. I agree. They're fun. They're so much fun. Taylor, I love all of her photos and stuff. They're fun, and you can still make it super unique and beautiful and custom to you, and just it's a lot of fun. And so we have these packages that we are going to start on like a base with just like simple altar options and things like that, and then kind of custom that with you guys. But in order to do this, we really want to make sure that everybody just reaches out as soon as possible. Just like Kelly and Becky were saying, we do have openings because we are new, but we want to make sure that we get your dates that you want on the books right away. With that said, also, we're really good for add-ons. So maybe you lost a couple things when you're switching your vendors over. So like if you're using Trinity events and there's just maybe something smaller that you need, that is when we can kind of come in and help with those things if you are moving your date and something changes like that. Because we actually worked recently together on a wedding and it was a lot of fun. They're really great. So I don't know if she wants to jump in here at any time.
Hi. Hello. Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, ladies, for putting this together and including us in this. This is Maria and I am Ronald. We're the owners of Trinity Special Event Rentals. We carry all sorts of items from arches, charger plates, all sorts of chairs. So we wanted to go over what we're doing as a rental company as far as rescheduling, cancellations, cleanliness. As for rescheduling, a lot of what Becky and Kelly were mentioning earlier at the beginning, we are suggesting that a lot of our clients do try to pick out alternative dates and reach out to us right away. That way we can make sure we have all these items available for their dates that they're possibly thinking of switching over to. And that way all those items are available and we can book them into that date right away. Because let's see here. A lot of our fall dates and into 2021 dates are starting to book up. We had a lot of bookings already there, And with all these reschedulings, you know, a lot of them have been moving to the fall in 2021. So a lot of it is booking up, filling up quick. So, you know, reach out to us right away. As far as cancellations, it's all based, cancellations is a little harder for us. It's all based on, you know, when items are booked, when they want to cancel, but we could go more into detail with that in our breakout room as far as cancellation, or sorry, as far as cleanliness. Any of our items that our clients and guests come into full contact with, we have been wiping down items like chairs, the cushions before and after events. Our white folding chairs recently, we have bleached them and pressure washed them. I mean, we do that a lot, you know, regardless all the time to make sure our items, you know, are up to date, looking clean, looking good for everybody. Let's see what else we were going to touch on. With that being said, I mean, if anybody has any questions and would like to go into details about our rental process, please join us in a breakout room and we could go over, you know, our items and any other items in detail with the other rental companies.
And I see Becky had a question. How much faster do you think 2021 is filling? Obviously not as quickly as the fall dates are, but they're definitely, you know, we're starting to get a lot of inquiries for them. And, you know, a lot of people, thank God, are not waiting last minute. But
we actually just had 2 inquiries for January of 2021. So I would say a lot quicker than we anticipated. That's huge for us. So it's definitely gonna fill up, and especially with, we do have a bunch that we are postponing. So our fall is starting to get a little bit heavy, but we really want to make it work for everybody. Like I said, we started in November, so we kind of jumped right into wedding season. So we're ready to just kind of pick up and keep going. So we're here for you guys, whatever it is that you need. If you are, again, looking for elopement, or maybe you're just kind of rethinking it in general and you want to do a more stripped down ceremony or something like that, we are happy to help in any way. Like I said, if you want to look at some of those packages, join us in the other room and we can kind of connect with our email and stuff. Again, to reach out, probably didn't even mention that, to reach out to us via email, on Facebook, on Instagram, any way that you can, just reach out. Are you posting out of stock information? Well, I think I don't know how you guys feel about that. It's kind of hard to say out of stock just because with the dates and how many items. So it wouldn't necessarily be an out of stock option, but it could be something that we could replace something with too. So it's kind of hard to just say it's completely out of stock. What do you guys think?
Yeah, same for us. I mean, we have so many of the different Shivari chairs, different colors. So it's hard to say, you know, if something's out of stock. We carry a lot of each color that we have. So
yeah, it's a hard question.
Yeah, sometimes a gold and a clear might go with your color scheme, so you could easily switch from that one to another one. So it just depends.
Yeah, communication and being flexible during all this time, I think, is going to be key for everyone, because we can still bring your vision to life. It might not just be the exact specific item that you want, but it will create that same vision. Run into more normal. Gotcha. Cool. So yeah, if you guys want to join us later for more questions, I'd love to get everybody's email at the end to send out some of our information. But thank you guys. And I think next is florals.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Ashley Merrick with Ashley Marie Designs, and I'll be with Elizabeth from the Crazy Plant Lady. And we're going to give you guys some tips and tricks on what to expect with your wedding flowers during this time. So let's see. I've got a few points to go over. During this time, you guys really want to be flexible about your specifics and give your florists like creative control. Because right now it's hard, like every day there's another wholesaler that's closing down, or they're being very strict, you know, on what flowers can come in at this time. But so just be open-minded about your flowers. I know just be open with us on like what you like or you don't like. And we can discuss, options that would make, sorry, I'm kind of struggling here. To discuss, like your colors, and we'll get other options in your color scheme. And we'll make our best effort to get you the blooms that you want. You really want, like, if you are going to reschedule your wedding, we're gonna be more than happy to work with you on selecting a new date, and we'll definitely honor our contract pricing for a future date. We do ask that you give us like a 3-week minimum to reschedule your event. So like Kelly mentioned in the beginning, 3 weeks in advance, we place our flower orders. And at that time, it's really hard to cancel an order. If you decide 2 weeks, maybe a week out, that, you know what, we might want to cancel the wedding, this isn't a good idea. At that point, it's really hard for us to cancel that order and get that money back. So at that time, we would just ask that you cover our flower cost, like the wholesale cost, and then we would see if you want to donate the flowers to like a hospital or a nursing home, or if you want to keep the flowers yourself, that would be an option as well. Let's see. Thank you. And let's see. Elizabeth, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, hi. So I think I'm a little bit different than have to order in. Something that I wanted to add, just everything going on. If you do, I love the idea of the style shoot. Like, a lot of people have to are canceling, postponing. Some aren't able to get the dates that they're wanting to get. So if you have to create a styled shoot, plants are a perfect way to create a space that you're looking at that might not be ready at the venue or at the beach that you're wanting. So I actually have access to a nursery. I have multiple different plants. If you want to, I actually, so if you come up, or if you talk to me, not come up to me because we're on quarantine, but if you have a picture, I was actually just going through Pinterest trying to like give some examples. If you come up and you like see a picture, this is an areca palm, and you can say, hey, I don't know what this plant is, but you send it to me and say, do you have this? I will get it for you, and I will put it on your site. One thing that I was thinking of that's kind of a plus side to using plants as well is I don't have to be there. So since we are on this like minimum 10 people, if you're doing like an elopement style type thing, I can drop off the plants at the site before anyone even gets there, or you can pick them up, I can drop them off to you, whatever, minimizing contact as much as possible, and we can create a space that you want. I was kind of going through like if you wanted to, obviously not in this aspect as well, just because you wouldn't be, if we're doing an elopement, it's going to be smaller, but if you want to create an altar, we can add things. If you want some greenery, you can cut this off. I'm really flexible. Like I eloped, kind of like Taylor. I didn't go to Hawaii, but I eloped. We just went to the courthouse. And then I ended up having a family wedding in my backyard, actually, higher space, by blocking it off with plants.
So it's definitely doable. I just want to reassure some of the brides that are here. It's definitely, it can be beautiful, but going for like the styled shoot end of it too, or doing something in the future, I will say I've worked with Taylor a lot, and I actually did a styled shoot with her with my husband, and I ended up liking those pictures more than I like my actual wedding pictures. She took my wedding pictures too, and they're beautiful, but I just have to say, I mean, I love both of them, but when it comes down to like looking at them side by side, I love my styled shoot pictures. And someone had mentioned you kind of get to put a little more like effort into a styled shoot and like pizzazz, I would say. When you're doing that, like, it's not as stressful as the day of. And also I wanted to add in here too, I didn't use a planner, and that is the biggest mistake I have ever made in my entire life. I was so stressed out. So I want to tell all the brides here, I would definitely recommend, from personal experience, using a planner. I could have avoided so many problems that I had on my wedding day if I had a planner. So I'm living proof from someone who thought I was organized and could do it myself. I wish I would have used a planner. So yeah, that's really all I want to say. If by happenstance, like, I don't know, I know that we have a few ministers on here, but if they happen to not be available, I am actually an ordained minister as well. So if you want someone, I know that everyone was saying on here that we are so open to everything. And I think this is a really good group that's legal, but I am more than happy to work with anyone and help you even just brainstorm getting something together. I will do my best. But yeah, I'm in the corner of one of the rooms in my house, and it's kind of, I would say, I don't know, I think it looks pretty okay for transforming a corner. So these are just really good. Even if you were at a venue, if there's something you want to cover up that isn't normally covered up there, this is a perfect way to cover up something and still keep it elegant and pretty. I can work with some of the rental companies. They have certain stands or like baskets, and I have stuff that can fill them if they don't have certain things that would go in there. So yeah, I think that was it from me. Yeah. So was there anything else you wanted to add, Ashley?
Let's see. I think we covered like the rescheduling, being flexible with your flower choices. As long as you trust us with your color scheme. I think it's really important, to trust your florist and just let them grab a hold of the reins and let them be free to design your flowers. Because right now it is really tough with, wholesalers closing down. But luckily, I've still been able to get flowers, so that's not a problem. But you hear a lot of like out of state wholesalers are closing down, which is really sad. But luckily we're, by Miami, and stuff gets shipped into there every day. So I don't think that's going to be a problem for us. But we just, like right now, our primary concern is the health of our clients and our vendors and the staff in our community. And above all, we sincerely, appreciate, all of our clients and everyone who continues to support us. And if we all work together, we're going to come out through this, better on the other side.
We have our own little group room too after this whole thing. So if anyone on here has any questions for us, I think both of us are on Instagram and Facebook too. So if anyone wants to reach out to us that way, we're available.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. I do want to say something really quick. I see that Kelsey asked a question, I think when Elizabeth was speaking. Do you guys have access to succulents or eucalyptus? just want to answer that for her.
I wanted to add that in there. I do have succulents. Yes, I have succulents. I personally don't have eucalyptus. I've tried to grow it. It will not grow for me. So I have succulents, and I wanted to add, I actually have herbs. I know that that's something that's kind of like in, I think it's coming in a little bit. I have like really big stalks of rosemary. So even if we needed to cut that to add to something too, I'm able to do that. I have some lavender growing. So
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I have access, sorry. I have access to both succulents and eucalyptus, so that's not a problem on my end.
Awesome. Yeah, those sound like they would be great for, you know, like customized cocktails or for little gifts and, you know, adding different things. There's a lot of ways that you could use herbs. I love it. So awesome. Thanks, guys. And we'll go ahead and move on to our officiants. So we have, I believe, Dr. Dan and Rabbi on here.
Yes.
Hey.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great.
Yep, I can hear you.
Wonderful. Well, I must say that we've lost a rabbi in translation. How's that? He called me just a few minutes ago and said, I've got an emergency at home I have to deal with. So here I am. He left me, the rabbi left me holding the bag. But I'm so excited to be here and glad to be part of this particular type of a forum. I'll just say hi to everybody that's out there. I'll introduce myself. I'm Reverend Dr. Dan Lamy. I've been an officiant here in Southwest Florida for about 20 years and worked with many of the folks that you've heard from already this evening. And I would just simply say, for me, my perspective is entirely different, is that I'm a dad with 6 daughters. Yes, you can count them, all 6. And so when these kinds of changes that came upon us that no one had any control over, he hit each and every one of us, I always approach it not as a minister, not as an officiant, but I always approach it as a dad. And if one of my girls had her wedding set and all of the days of her life she dreamed toward this moment and she was hoping and looking forward to this day, and all of a sudden this invisible virus and all the kinds of things that have happened as a result of that put them in a position where the one day that they have focused on for the last year or two is now being taken away from them. And really there's nothing they could say or do. I really just approach that with the greatest sense of compassion and concern, because there are no words that even as a dad you can offer to say, okay, it's going to be okay, we're going to make it back. No, there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of sometimes anger, there's a lot of tears, there's a lot of all of that for everyone. And I think that's probably one of the most important pieces to this whole thing. Now, obviously, like everyone else who's been part of our forum tonight, you know, it started in a little bit of a domino effect where I get calls from venues or brides or other folks that I was working with to let me know that that either they were thinking about postponing or canceling, that sometimes the venues were shifting, sometimes the government were making decisions about groups of 50 or less. I did have one very, very, let me just say, a bride who was willing to move mountains because her venue said to her at the last minute, if you cut your list down to less than 50, we can do this. And if not, we're not going to be able to hold it. And she just felt very importantly that she wanted to hold it, didn't want to restrict anybody, went to an outside venue, made plenty of space for everybody, had plenty of hand washing stations, made sure everybody was following certain protocols. But she worked very hard to make that happen because she wanted to get married on the day that she had kind of set herself out and had planned for. And it worked, and it worked for her. But most of my other brides, as has been the case with everyone else, just like dominoes, it is all just very, very quickly kind of fallen apart for everybody. And even tonight while we were on, I got 2 other phone calls from folks that are saying we're going to postpone, we're going to cancel. So with regard to how I handle all of the things from deposits and all of that, I simply take case-by-case basis with everybody. Now's the time, from my perspective, where I just want to be sensitive and caring and listening and try to be helpful in as many ways as possible. But the other thing that happens too for me is, as an officiant, whether I have people who are deeply religious or I have people who just want more of a civil ceremony or whatever, every one of them has some sense of understanding that these are difficult moments and they'd like to have some help or support. So I've been talking with a lot of people, not just my brides and grooms, but I've also been talking with planners that I work with, and I've been working with other folks who are trying to figure out, okay, so what do we do in response to all of these things? So I'd love to say that there's a nice one-time fits all, but I just can't, I can't imagine that everybody's going to fit into the same little box. I'm getting a call from DJ Dave, and I want to take that and make sure everybody's hearing me. I don't know how I missed him, but I can do this live. Maybe he was calling somebody else. I'm hoping that was the case. But you guys are still hearing me? You can nod, okay?
You're all good.
Everything's good. Great. Thank you. Also, I want to say, too, that as I've heard from many others, and I think this is kind of a primary impulse and a heartbeat of this industry, what we're hoping is that people will kind of postpone and work with the team that you work so long to kind of gather with. We want to make sure that you have the opportunity to go forward. And I will say that from the venues to the coordinators to the musicians to everybody I've worked with, and I had a large number of events that I had planned for the end of March, for April and May, which have all postponed or canceled. But what I would say is that when you have a dream team together, it's very important to try and work with everybody to make sure that you get exactly what you want for the most important day of your life. And I know that all the folks that I've been working with have been working really, really hard to make that happen. I think the struggle in it all is that there are so many moving pieces and everything moves so quickly. And so what we want to do is, I always tell everybody, if you can just simply step back just a little bit and then triage for yourself, what are the most important things here? And hopefully it's that you're marrying the person of your dreams. Hopefully it's that you know that no matter what happens, that's still going to occur. I heard a little earlier in our broadcast that for some of my couples, because of the restrictions that have come to this moment, that I have some of my couples who've said, we're doing a private ceremony at the house. Can you come to the house so that we can get married on the day? And these are our local brides, that we can get married on the day. I actually had one of my brides say, is there any way you can drive up? And it was a long drive, and I would try and consider it, but given restrictions, that's going to be a hard thing to do. But we want to do our best to make sure that, at least in some small measure, you get all of the things that you desire. Because it's more than a cancellation. It's that there's this attack that takes place on your dream. And when your dreams get dashed, it's a really, really hard time. So not just because I'm an officiant or because I'm a minister or because I'm a dad, I think that the people that I've worked with in this industry down here and the folks that have been represented tonight are all folks who don't just have a job or have a business. They have a dream, they have a passion, they have a livelihood, but they're invested in this because they care about people. And the people that I've worked with that are present here are folks that don't just see it as another wedding. It's your wedding day. One of the most important moments that you ever get to experience. So our deepest desire, from my side as an officiant, is that it's so much bigger than a single event. It was about creating memories that last for a lifetime. It's about sharing those things. That's why you had photographers and videographers. You wanted to look your best, so that's why you were doing hair and makeup. You want to have the flowers perfect. You want to have all the linens just right. Every detail that you worked on was done in such a way because it was reflective of who you are and what you wanted to create. So we're not going to let coronavirus stop a creative process. We're not going to let cancellations or postponements stand in the way of recreating something really special and something really, really valuable. And so I would simply say, going forward, make sure that we get all of the teams together, make sure that you're working with all of your vendors to make sure that you get exactly what it is that you want and that you need. And I would also say for some, it's so easy to say, okay, this isn't working, we're just going to cancel. As a dad, I want to say to you, you don't have to defer your dream. We may have to reschedule and shift it a little. But I'd also say in these times that are most trying for every person, you don't have to make complete decisions to say, okay, we're just not going to do that. We're not coming to Southwest Florida. We're not going to go there. We're going to get beyond this, as has been said so many other times. We're going to find a way. And in finding a way, what my deepest desire as an officiant is to make sure that we create something that is even more magical and even more special than what maybe you even intended. Because I know from my own experience with my daughters, having had lots of bumps and bruises of the heart, that the greatest capacity for human growth is created in the space that we find in a broken heart. So there's a lot of opportunity for growth because a lot of us have had our hearts broken around a lot of things that are going on right now. So to you who are watching, I say blessings upon you. Thoughts and prayers are going to be with you and your family, and I hope for safety and for health and wholeness for all of you. And I'd love to talk with any of you that have particular questions at all as we kind of finalize and we all move to our small Zoom rooms to finish out our broadcast this evening. Know this, these are extraordinary times. They're going to demand extraordinary things. But the people you've heard from tonight are incredibly extraordinary people. We're going to make sure your wedding day is much more than just simple extraordinary. Bless you all. Thanks so much for being with me.
Thank you. That was great. So I just
Thank you, Dan.
kind of go ahead and explain the breakout rooms before we get into our last vendor, who is covering all things video. So for the breakout rooms, I'm going to be submitting a link to my website that will have everybody's individual breakout rooms for whatever specific category you're looking for. So photographers will have a room, planners will have a room. I will do that right now and put that in there so you guys can see it, but we still have one more vendor left. I know Ashley wants to give an announcement really quick.
Oh yeah, I'll just wait until after at the very end.
All right, I just have to see if Curtis is ready. Let me put him in. Just 1 second. Oops, we're still looking at me. Let's do. What's happening?
I haven't seen him join yet, so.
He said he'll be here in just a second.
Okay.
Does anybody else that's a vendor want to say anything last? Planners, anything? While we're waiting for Curtis to come on.
We can ask and see if any of the couples that are in here have any questions just in general right now until Curtis gets in here.
Sure.
Or if they're going through anything and they, want to share it, it's just see if they need any guidance or anything.
Lorena. Oh. Okay, Kelly, do you want to talk on that a little bit? You have to unmute yourself.
She's not here.
I know, just here.
I think she left. I don't see her on here anymore.
How can you unmute yourself?
Unmute.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Am I there?
You're here. We hear you.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so I am not a stationer, but I can tell you what Lorena has done for me and my clients as of recent. So as Becky and I have spoken about in the beginning, there's essentially about 3 different kinds of stationery that you want to use as written communication to your clients. First being, we are considering moving your date. That is the first thing that you can send to your clients. Any stationer can put this together for you. If you don't have a stationer, if you have a graphic artist that can make that for you, if you want to do something yourself, Canva is a great tool. It's canva.com, and you can create just a graphic that you can text to your guest or email, but it's free and it's so easy to use. Also, if you're working with Becky or I as fulfillment coordinators, of course, we can do that for you. The second piece is an official change of date document that you probably want to send in the mail, especially if you have already sent out your actual wedding invitations, to follow it up that way. But the quickest way to get the information to everyone, obviously, is email and text. So that's why I think that a digital document might work out the best for those reasons. It's going to be case-by-case basis when it comes to your stationer on if you've already maybe done all of your designing or gone to print on your wedding stationery suite, and you're changing the date at this before it goes out. What I would probably suggest, Becky, you let me know what you think on this as well, is that if you already have everything printed but have not sent it out yet, go ahead and use what you've got so you don't have to redo everything, but have another card made that says, okay, we have a change, and your stationer will help you come up with this, and get that printed and put that in with it with the rest of the stationery. And put that right on top, so it's something that they have, and that way you can still repurpose what you've already gone through so much work to do. I'm thinking that's probably what Lorena would have said, I guess. I'm assuming. Do you think so, Beck?
Yeah, I do. And I think there has been some tools floating around online, I've noticed, with stationers that are just providing verbiage. So if you are someone who hasn't hired that, or maybe you design them yourself or some other avenue, and you just want like appropriate verbiage to have those changes made, those are floating around online. If you need help, we can certainly send them to you. Of course, having someone hired will be the easiest process, but I know those things. People are being really generous with things like that right now. So we can help connect you.
Yeah. I have one. We have them made already we're considering, or we are moving for South Seas if you happen to be somebody who's getting married there. But I know that Lorena will, of course, share that with you, and would also do new artwork for whatever venue that you are getting married at. She's a very talented artist. I'm sure that she could use the same wording, and you could send that off to your brides, and she's incredibly quick. We got that turned out in less than a week. And so it would just be a matter of changing your venue on that. So. And
I do know too, to add to that, is that I think even if you didn't initially use Lorena or a couple of our other vendors, and you have invites printed, she can take what you've done and match it. Like it doesn't have to be the originator of your communication.
Exactly.
She can be the communicative piece now. So keep that in mind too. If it's just easier, you can just send her copies of that, and she'll be able to match that perfectly for you.
Yeah.
Awesome. I see Curtis is in.
There he is.
Yeah, Curtis.
Hey everybody. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute myself, Beck, if you.
Curtis, whenever you're ready to go, it is all you.
All right, I'll do this thing. I'm in my bedroom, by the way. Hey everybody, I'm Curtis Kennedy. I'm a videographer, bringing timeless heirloom wedding films to couples worldwide. We're based in both Minneapolis and Southwest Florida, actually. So Southwest Florida is kind of second home to us. I love working with all of the partners in the area, and a lot of them are here tonight. My films are very story driven. We have a bright, soft, fine art aesthetic. So if you like fine art, film photography, you'll definitely connect with my style. I like to say that I'm very collaborative on the wedding day, love working closely with your wedding planner and photographer to make your day as fun and seamless as possible. Before I get into some of the things we are kind of offering to couples affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and kind of go through some tips and whatnot, I would actually just like to share one of our wedding sneak peeks to kind of give you a sense of what our films look like. So I'm going to try and share my screen, and we're going to see if this works. QuickTime Player. Share. Can one of you give me a thumbs up and just make sure you can see this? Okay, perfect. Well, here we go, y'all. Stop share. So that is kind of a little glimpse of our feel. Kelly McWilliams actually planned that wedding that you just saw. They also used sweetified cakes for their dessert, and then Jade's jewel booth. So wanted to kind of give them all shout outs. They're all amazing. So to kind of the subject at hand. So with the COVID-19 outbreak, I believe there's been no other time in really the history of weddings where video has been more important. Like even when the virus and everything clears up, most people return back to normal life, whatever that is. I think there's still going to be a period of time where, kind of the elderly and immunocompromised are probably going to be pretty cautious of traveling. So I feel like having a videographer is going to be essential to those, so that those friends and family members who can't attend can still relive the amazing moments that took place on your wedding day. I feel like there's kind of been this lingering, can everyone hear me? It's saying my internet connection's unstable. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, sounds good. Where was I? So I feel like there's kind of always been this lingering question of like, do I really need a videographer? Should I spend the money? And now I just don't think people can really afford not to. And if you kind of have to cut things with the guest list due to health reasons for some guests, you can really then reallocate some of those funds so that you can, so that those guests that can't make it can still experience your wedding in some fashion. So we have rolled out some new options that that couples can be considering. One of those being live streaming of the wedding ceremony, so that friends and family who can't make the wedding can stream it live, and really they can be as present as possible then. Another option is expedited delivery on ceremony edits. So with every wedding we do, we cover the full ceremony, multicam or multiple camera angles, and with kind of offering an expedited delivery option. It's a lower cost option in comparison to live streaming. Just with live streaming, there's a lot of extra equipment that we have to bring and some other logistical things that need to happen. And honestly, it can be a higher quality video than a live stream, and we can deliver it next day. So that's an option where if your guests who can't make it are able to have just 24 hours of patience, we can deliver a very high quality multi-camera edit of your ceremony, and we can send it right to them even. And then another thing, not only have couples been affected by this outbreak, but really businesses have really been affected as well here in the wedding industry. So we have introduced a simplified package option that will get you a short 3-minute music montage of the wedding day, as well as all of the raw footage of the wedding. This will make our services a little more accessible to couples that are having to kind of move things around, reschedule. And so this is going to be a really good kind of non-peak season option, because that's what a lot of couples who are having to reschedule, those are the kind of dates that they're really looking at. And also with that option, we are offering a 4-week delivery on it, which is much quicker than a lot of our normal options. So those are a few things that we are offering. If you already have a videographer hired and you're able to keep them on your new date, if you had to reschedule, I would definitely ask about those kinds of options if they can also bring that to the table. I mean, most people I know are super flexible. They're super open to things like that. So definitely ask those questions, and then ask those questions to any videographers you may be interviewing if you are still on the search. That's really all I had. Once again, I'm Curtis Kennedy with Curtis Kennedy Films. You can find more about us at just curtiskennedyfilms.com. And I guess I'm going to have my own room to answer some questions. Yeah. Do we do like any convo with some of the vendors here? How do we do this? Are we good?
Yeah. If you guys have any.
Do any other partners have questions for me, or any discussion discussion points in regards to video?
Do you ever have people ask for original audio? Like have us ask to make them an audio? Would you put that like on the video? I've only done that once.
Original, like recorded?
Mm-hmm. Like if we recorded their songs, you could put it on the video.
Oh, got it. I think that's definitely something we could talk about. I have to look into the licensing legal aspect to that. Yeah, I don't quite know the answer. I would have to look into that, because usually with kind of a lot of couples, like during the ceremony and reception in particular, most of this music is kind of more mainstream, and there's usually a kind of a licensing conflict with a lot of music like that in regards to using it for a wedding film. I'm not sure how that looks as far as using a recorded cover version. It may be different. I'll have to look into that. Yeah.
Cool.
That's a really cool cool thing to do though. That's a good question. Yeah, I never thought of it, because
I have a question.
you ladies are incredible. So yes,
I have
Kelly.
a question. Have you, this is something that I think you missed in the beginning. We talked quite a bit about alternatives to just like postponing or rescheduling. And one of the big ones that came up was elopements, and or people kind of splitting off and doing a very miniature ceremony right now and then doing a full event later. Do you have, or are you willing to put together a package where it's kind of broken up, where they can have you for both? Like maybe you do cover their elopement and have a video prepared for that to show at their party later on, but you also go to to record the party, because everyone wants video of their people dancing, of course. So is that something that I don't know if you already have that available, but if not, is it something that you would be willing to do? Are you frozen? There he is.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm here. Yeah, I love that idea. We've done similar things like that with just events happening on on the wedding day. Like, I mean, it's called the same day edit. So it's essentially a similar concept, but if, having a fun, kind of adventure elopement, with us and the photographer, and being able to bring that to the reception for the guests to all watch together. It's an incredible moment. Usually when we've done same day edits, and I mean, you just look around the room and everybody is just like, everyone's crying. And then at the end, people are applauding. Like, it's a really, really cool moment. So we would definitely be open to talking about that kind of customized collection. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm thinking of something actually a little bit different from that, because not same day edit. I'm talking about, like, let's say someone's supposed to get married in April.
Yeah.
Late April.
Yes. Yep.
And so they decide to just do an elopement now at their home or wherever, and you come and do that and get that little ceremony video done. But then they're having their wedding reception months down the line, that you would not only just show that video, but be there on that day. So essentially you're there for
Yes.
2 different days. Okay.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yes, for sure. I would love to do that. Absolutely.
I think photography and video like combine together, and it's like you almost want to provide like the same service and stuff. So like how we were
Right.
talking about earlier, potentially splitting your contract just to kind of make it like work for them, or offering them a certain rate to be able to add on so that they can have both options.
Yes.
It's just that everyone is willing to work out because of the situation at hand. I think
Yes.
this type of situation is not like normal, so like we're
Right.
all just like taking it day by day and case by case, and just making sure that every couple is getting like the fullness of like what their wedding should have been like. So if someone wanted to hire us to go and do their elopement and provide even photos or video of that to like showcase like at the evening of it or whatever, that is really something that's possible. I mean, we offer same day edits as well for photography, and put it in a pretty slideshow, and we put it in like a table maybe where like where the guest book was, just so people can see like, oh my gosh, like this was the day, like this just happened, and I know Curtis does that as well. So I think that anything that could possibly come up, we would definitely like try and make it work for
Right.
them. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was able to hop on earlier when you were talking, Ashley, about I think you had a couple in Chicago or something that was potentially going to fly you up. So like take that situation for example, like if they were to have like that smaller intimate ceremony or whatever in Chicago, and they had you, the photographer, and they had someone film that, create something really beautiful from that moment to show at their reception that they have for everybody later on, say that's down in Southwest Florida, right? Because who doesn't want to party down in Southwest Florida? And with this whole thing, I mean, we are all having to adapt. We are adapting. We are learning. Yeah, this is just craziness, but hey, we're all gonna get through this.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's just like the way that I see it, especially for photo and video. Like, for instance, doing like a destination wedding. Say you photographed their welcome party, and you did some really cute portraits of the couple or really cute video, and then the next day is their wedding day. Like, you want to like post that and share that. So you're almost doing like next day edits to provide them like that experience and stuff. So it's almost like a hand in hand, like almost experience, just like doing like a destination wedding or whatever. Especially I know like when we do destination weddings, we provide like next day edits of like the whole day, just so that they can like look back and see the day and also like enjoy that experience, because they're seeing like all the people that were there, but then they can also share with their like people on Facebook or whatever that weren't able to come, and can be like, hey, yo, we got married. And it'd be like really cool. So
Yes.
hey, awesome. So Taylor, do we want to segregate into the next part of this and go into the separate groups and stuff?
Yep, so we'll go ahead and wrap everything up. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you guys for being here and for helping our brides. I think brides are pulling up. I'm sorry if you guys can hear that. But thank you so much for just kind of reassuring. And then Dr. Dan especially, I don't know if he's still here, but super encouraging. And I think that positive attitude is what we all need right now. So just kind of translating that to our brides and giving them confidence and being able to help them out as much as we can through this process. So with that being said, we do have separate rooms, which are just links that you can visit to talk to all of these vendors. So if you have any questions for anyone specifically, you can go to the link that Jade just shared in the chat box. So if you go to the chat at the bottom and then click the link that Jade shared, which is jadestrings.com/online wedding show, you can see a menu of all the different vendor categories and select the one that you want to speak with. So click on that and it will go to the chat room for those vendors, and then you can talk to us. So we're ready and we'll be there to answer your questions.
Awesome.
All right, so thanks guys. Anybody else have anything to say?
Yeah, just so if you don't see the group active or that particular chat room active, just give it a couple minutes so that they can actually log in and get it going and stuff. I am going to be having a venue in my chat room as well, just to kind of help with any additional questions as far as in what venues are thinking about, as far as in policies and stuff to move forward with dates and also rescheduling. So if any of the couples have questions about that, particularly for a venue kind of point or whatever, they can do that as well.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
thank you.
Nice to see you all, and look forward to seeing you in chat. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.